for certain items. And the trainer, we did go through a trainer and assistant trainer rule, and we felt that we didn't have enough of the language for both of them, so 4B and 4C were tabled. And we did table also the medication restrictions because we felt we needed more language in there. The nice thing about, I would encourage a lot of you to come to those meetings because it takes a community, it takes a village to really to go through that and to vet them well. And so just because something is tabled doesn't mean that it's not going to be addressed. It means that we need to do further research or develop language, or maybe contact other state commissions and see what rules that they have, and to move forward. And I just, we did approve the, under 4R, we voted to adopt the reader's rule proposal. The readers had gone to the legislature last year and requested a change to the state statute regarding their fiduciary responsibility. In statute, it stated that they had to have a fiduciary bond, and it was a very expensive bond, and I'm sure Tom can talk about it more thoroughly than I can, that they did present a model to the commission as requested by the state, and the committee did adopt it. And I talked to Tanya, and we were okay because we don't have to follow the Open Meetings Act during our committee meetings. So we received our okay from that. Okay. We will not need to readdress that. And the other item that we spent a lot of time on was a proposal by Sutherland Park regarding the third-party LASIKs. And I think that we, I don't know, Justin, if you want to add anything to this conversation, but there was no action taken. This is a House rule that Sutherland Park is proposing, and there were a lot of concerns by the committee veterinarian and also by in the public. We had quite a few veterinarians and trainers, and there were petitions that were mentioned. We have not seen any of those petitions. We have requested them. If there is a such thing, we want to make sure that it's legitimate and we have the proper information, names and signatures, et cetera, et cetera. And so we did ask, one of the veterinarians did say that he was concerned that we would be breaking state law. So we have asked the veterinarians to contact their state board and to bring us language that is the case. And then we'll readdress it at our November meeting if that's okay with someone.
Yes, Madam Chair. Sutherland Park plans on having third-party LASIKs as a house rule, and if it's in violation of any NMAC or state rules, certainly we would be able to do it at that time. But it's part of our NTRA accreditation, and it's done in many other jurisdictions, 21 other jurisdictions. So we're hoping that it's something we move forward with.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Dixon. And I think that as something that I've said from the very beginning, as being chairwoman, is that we would follow rules, we would follow statute, we would follow law. And I think that's the only concern I have at this point. We certainly want to work with Sutherland Park and make that Sutherland Derby and your meet as successful as we can, as we do wish that for all the other parks. Okay, I think that would complete my report. I would add one more thing regarding people with public comment, and make sure that you signed that if there's something that you want to say, it will be a 3-minute discussion. And I think we have our clocker with us, Mr. Trejo. And, you know, we take your comments very seriously within public comment. I know we addressed a few things, and one in particular was one that was made by Ms. Alvarez, and her request was to increase the penalty for out-of-competition testing regarding albuterol and clenbuterol from 2 months to 6 months. That was part of our discussion yesterday. There was no action taken on that, but that is something that we are still researching. So thank you for your comments. We appreciate that. Okay, moving on to the agency director reports. That would be the New Mexico Horsemen's Breeders Association. Good morning.
Mary Barber, New Mexico Horse Breeders.
Good morning, Erin.
Good morning. Okay, if we can start with the race today report, I did make some adjustments for your advice. For the final race today report for the Downs of Albuquerque, in 55 days, they had run 211 New Mexico bred races. For their overnight races, we contributed $543,000. For their 6 thoroughbred stakes, we contributed $325,000, and for the quarter horse stakes, $195,000. This is $134,400 more than in 2018. They averaged 3.84 New Mexico bred races per day, and were plus 46 for the required 3 a day. On their average field size, this is before scratches. I ran out of time. I couldn't go through every day of their meet and figure out who scratched and if it was a quarter horse or thoroughbred, but we did start that with Zia Park. For the thoroughbreds, the average field size for New Mexico bred overnight races was 8.53. For quarter horses, 9.09. For a combination of 8.76. For Zia Park, for their first 12 days of racing, they had 55 New Mexico bred races, 35 thoroughbred overnights. We contributed $162,000 to 11 quarter horse races overnights, and we contributed $55,000 to those races for a total of $217,000. This is $44,000 more than in 2018. They are averaging 4.58 New Mexico bred races per day. They are plus 19 for the required 3 a day. Now, their average field sizes is after scratches. Their thoroughbreds, 35 races, they're averaging 8.57 New Mexico breds per race. The quarter horses are averaging 9.91 per race, for a combined average of 8.89 New Mexico breds per overnight New Mexico bred race. For the Downs at Albuquerque, for New Mexico breds and open overnight races, in their 55 days, 515 New Mexico breds ran in these open overnight races, and of those, 150 came first, second, or third, and that is 29%. And they shared in 110,165.8. For Zia Park, in their first 8 days, 71 New Mexico breds ran in open overnight races. Of those, 19 came in first, second, or third, and that is 27%. And they shared in 17,595 at that racetrack. And that is all I have to report.
Good.
Any questions?
Any questions? I like the color codes though. It's easier to look at.
Oh, did you give them a call? Okay.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Thank you very much, Mary. Any
Good job,
questions
Mary.
from the commission?
Any questions? No? Okay.
Okay, moving on to 6B1 from the Horsemen's Association.
We narrowed our executive director down to 3 applications. Next week, we're gonna start the interviews for those 3, and we should have an executive director by the next time we have a meeting. Okay? All right, fine. And Zia
You're
Park,
sure?
huh?
You're sure?
I'm pretty sure.
Wishing the best for the Horsemen's Association.
We're glad Zia Park's going to 11 races a day and 12 for the 5.5 they're having. We're gonna continue watching the money. And hopefully we won't have a retro this year like we have in the past. And if it changes, we'll let you know if we need to update something with them. But they're going pretty good at Zia right now.
Okay, good.
Okay?
And Mr. Rader, I would really like to be copied on that if there's any hint or sense of a retro. We don't want to go there, as you know.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Any questions?
Questions from the commission? Okay, thank you, Mr. Lizzie, a little bit. Okay, Mr. Trejo, the executive director report.
Yes, Madam Chair, members of the commission, Izzy Trejo, Director of the New Mexico Racing Commission. First off, I should, introducing our new state investigator, Elizabeth Garcia. If we could just stand for half a second. If you like it. This is Elizabeth Garcia. We recently hired on October 7th. We have a lot of confidence in her. She's got a solid background, just in working in the Long area. She's a product of Don Cook's School of Horse Racing. And we are happy to have her join us. On October 21st, our new paralegal will be starting work with the agency. Her name is the agency's capabilities. So we look forward to her joining us, and she'll be working under Rosemary Harley. And Rosemary will be doing the training. Next up, we've been working with the Downs of Albuquerque and the AQHA in regards to the Bank of America Challenge races coming up next Saturday on October 26th. They're very happy with the great confidence in racing surface from the people that have shipped in. I think once again, as we mentioned last week, congratulations to Don Cook and his track maintenance team there for providing a safe surface for horses. Once again, also a lot of festivities involved with this big night. I'll let Tom tell you all about that. I go before the LFC on October 30th for a budget hearing. We will be presenting to them a hopefulness of getting funding to add some more veterinarians to the commission staff, as well as a few extra bucks to expand our out-of-competition testing program. And that we're asking for that increase because we want to implement that training program where we test horses in the morning, as well as other out-of-competition testing. I think our future is in out-of-competition testing, as I mentioned yesterday. We want to expand that program. Last year, we did 508 out-of-competition samples. This year, we've done 717 to date. Next year, we're hoping to get it up to 1,000. And can beat us at the test farm. That's why care testing and the out-of-competition testing program is very, very important to continue our regulation of that facet of the industry. We didn't have a chance to go into our statistics yesterday at the medication meeting, but I'll be very, very brief with these. Overall, as of August 2019, 0.9% of our samples have come up with violations. 2018 is 1.1%, 2017 1.5%. May not seem like a significant decrease, but when you look at the increase in our testing from 2017, we did 4,707 samples. 2018, 8,375, and this year, as of August 2019, 7,423 samples tested, and we decreased. I think the testing program is pushing along pretty well, but we certainly want to stay focused on that. One other issue I need to bring to your attention, I got an email yesterday asking the commission's position on Senate Bill 1488, Tom Udall bill in Washington. At this point in time, I have not had a chance to discuss this bill with you guys, so that's about all I'm going to say about that. Let's stand for any questions.
I understand you forwarded that information, the Horse Racing Act, to all the commissioners, so.
Forwarded Bill 1488 to the commissioners last night.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Trejo. Appreciate that. Any questions for Mr. Trejo from the commission? Moving on to 7A, under approval of challenge races.
Commission seeking approval for Stuart Dan Fick, Jerry Burgess, and Mr. Ron Walker to work the AQHA challenge races. I don't believe Mr. Fick has any issues with that bunch.
So do I have a motion on the floor to approve the stewards with state steward positions for the AQHA Bank of America Challenge races at the Downs of Albuquerque?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. 7B, approval of AQHA enforcement team for challenge races.
Yes, Madam Chair, members of the commission seeking approval of the AQHA enforcement team as listed in the letter there. Agents coming in from different.
I know she's been on
She's
our
licensed
integrity.
with us.
Yes, I know. I'm just teasing her. But she does come with a lot of experience because she has been on our integrity team.
I move to approve.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. 7C, letter from the Mexico Racing Commission to AQHA.
Madam Chair, this is a letter that has been written, and I think the decision would be your guys' whether we want to send a letter to the AQHA regarding certain specific items regarding regulation in the industry. I don't know. I spoke with Delilah on this. She's obviously not here, but she had been working on perhaps another draft of this letter. I don't know if Ms. Manestas has had a chance to take a look at this letter and digest it and, maybe give us guidance, and this may be something that I don't know. You want to, I don't know if that's
Madam Chair, Commission members, I am not familiar with this letter. I apologize, Delilah had a trip planned out of state today, and this was pre-planned, so I'm just kind of covering for her. As long as she's working closely with Izzy, I'm fine with it. But this would not be a matter that you could discuss in executive session. There's not an appropriate exception for that. As a matter, if the commission, the executive director has concerns with any actions that are taking place, I would support a letter to the AG's office to further review it. As a quick read of this, I don't think that there's enough information within this letter. So I would ask Izzy to work with Delilah to put in some little bit more specifics. And I think it's always good for Izzy to share any drafts that he does with the full commission. You can't have a rolling quorum over an email, so if you have concerns with it, you would have to pick up the phone and call Izzy. But I think as your executive director, he does have the duty to, or does have the ability to do a letter such as this, unless one of you all would object to specifics.
I'd like to say something. The reason that letter needs to go out is we're gonna put the Racing Commission in harm's way. We find a thoroughbred trainer 15 days, $500, and we're gonna fine a quarter horse trainer 1 year and $10,000. That's gonna create us a lot of problems. They're gonna sue us and they're gonna probably win. The AQHA has gone through the back door and kind of regulated with the ARIC committee. I talked to some people at the AQHA. They said, just get a letter out to us and we'll start moving on it. But they're not gonna move until we kind of push them a little bit. But this is really gonna create us a lot of problems. Thoroughbred trainer comes in here, says 15 days, quarter horse comes in here and say 1 year. That's gonna create us a lot of problems. Plus the AQHA a lot of problems because they're gonna file suit against the Racing Commission as well as the AQHA. And we're here to steward the money for the New Mexico. And I think this is a lot of, will create us a lot of problems. Double, it's kind of, what's good for the goose is good for the gander type thing. And it's really, really out of line. That's it. All right.
I think, well, I'll tag on to what Mr. Smith has said. I think there's the discrepancy is that quarter horses get a penalty A and thoroughbreds get a penalty B, a much lesser penalty. And, the commission is looking at to whether, I think our ask is that we would like to be able to make that rule because it affects our industry and not have another entity come in and make what they feel is best for our state industry. We are the regulators. This is how I see it. We are the regulators, and those types of decisions should be made by the New Mexico Racing Commission.
It takes it out of our hands. We're the only state that has these rules, the state statute. Most states use it as a template. So it's happened in Oklahoma and Texas several times, and they give the quarter horse guy 15 days. But ours is in state statute, so we're bound to give them at least 1 year. So one state in the whole country has got this in the state statute, which I don't know how that happened, but it did. It's supposed to be a template for us to go by, because they change it every year. You know, some of the things they changes they put in there don't work for New Mexico. We're at 8,000 feet. We run mostly quarter horses. Well, not mostly quarter horses, but it said it's okay for the thoroughbreds to do that, but it's not okay for the quarter horses to do that. Well, that's AQHA getting in the middle of the deal, regulating it, telling us what the commission has to do. The circumstances are the authority of the racing commission. So anyway, that's kind of where it stands at this point. I understand it takes time to go to the AG and get things approved. When is the meeting in Arizona for the,
The first week of December.
so as long as we get it out in November, so they can start it, they'll go ahead and do it, but they have to go to the meeting. The AQHA has to go to the meeting and approve it, because that's the way I understand it, that the ACR committee didn't want to do it in the first place. They felt real uncomfortable doing it in the first place. Am I right?
Madam Chair, Commissioner Smith, yes, I have spoken with other industry organizations such as the Racing Medication and Testing Consortium, and they're uneasy about the unequal penalties of clenbuterol and albuterol for the quarter horse trainers versus thoroughbred trainers. As Madam Chair mentioned, penalty A for quarter horse guys gets you a year, 10,000 minimally. Thoroughbred trainer would be getting 15 days, $1,000 fine minimally. So there's a discrepancy in the penalties for the same violation, but it's specific to the breed, whether it's quarter horse or thoroughbreds.
Right, and the reason it's in statute is because it's in state statute. ARCI medications and penalties are in our state statute. So when this was implemented by the AQHA, that followed us into our state statute. So the ask is really going to the people that put it in the first place and see if they would withdraw it or amend it. But we would like to be the ones that make those decisions and not the AQHA. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay. Okay, I think that's what we'll do in time. I don't think, do we need a motion on the floor to proceed with this?
No, I think
We don't have the
it's
letter
more
yet.
along the lines of if you have concerns with it, to voice it to your executive director.
Okay, I think we just did that, so. Okay, thank you very much. Moving on to 7D, approval for Sunland Park.
Dustin Dix, Sunland Park Racetrack and Casino. Sunland Park is requesting approval for our 2020 Copper Top Futurity blanks and the gaming and breakage for those as well. And I believe there was no changes from the previous year, except the purse, the breeder.